Last year, Stafford Davis threw for 41 touchdowns and 4,600 yards, ended up winning the Super Bowl. It was a great story, but I guess the question is, does that story continue along this year? You mentioned it. His ADP somewhere around the 8th round. He's a borderline starter for most in fantasy football, but I tend to agree with you. I think that of that range of quarterbacks between like 10 and 15, he seems pretty safe.
He does seem pretty safe, and you also know that you're going to have some good spike weeks with him, when Van Jefferson scores one of those long touchdowns, the 3-touchdown Cooper Kupp games. Last year, Stafford had multiple 4-touchdown games and had 4 games with more than 330 passing yards. Obviously did phenomenally in the playoffs. 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Probably the interesting thing, you'd win some bar trivia on this if you asked who led the NFL in interceptions last season. I don't think that very many people would have guessed Matthew Stafford. Maybe they would have guessed Fields or Lawrence or one of the young guys who was kind of struggling to make their way. And I actually think that's kind of what makes Matt Stafford good. If you look at the way Aaron Rodgers has played over the years, he's very, very conservative. I believe Aaron Rodgers' career interception rate is below 1% of his attempts. And that was the big difference between the Jared Goff Rams and the Matthew Stafford Rams is they turned the ball over more, but they were taking way more shots down the field. I think everyone remembers Odell Beckham's first game as a Los Angeles Ram where he scores the long touchdown. Van Jefferson scores the 75-yard touchdown. Like that just makes them very hard to defend. And I would anticipate more of that this season. I think the aggressive down the field throwing is basically what makes the Rams a Super Bowl contender because not very many teams are able to do that efficiently. One thing we've seen in the NFL is that the average depth of target, so how far quarterbacks are throwing the ball down the field, has decreased every year for the last 6 years in the NFL. And the Rams are kind of zigging while everyone else is zagging. And I think that makes them more effective.